Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Let's wait for Shamanand Kishan Prabhuji to join.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Danvat Pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadangayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhu Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्री गुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्येश्वर। Okay. Um, well, I know that devotees have presentation today from 6 to 8 as part of our Farmington Hills Temple Facebook page. We will take this discussion in two parts. Today we will see learning to see good in others, and next week we will have discussion on some other kind of discussion on Srimati Radharani. We already had one discussion. We will have one more discussion on specifically focusing on Radha Ashtami, because next week Tuesday, yeah, 9 days from now is Radha Ashtami. It will be more focused on the appearance day of Radha Ashtami and some other things about that. And then the week after that, we can have discussion on how to avoid fault finding, how to overcome that tendency of fault finding. Okay. Okay. Um, Karunaya Maitra Chakila Jantushu Samatvena cha Charvatma Bhagwan Samprasiddhati. Let's start reading.
The Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality.
So today's discussion is little bit in a different way. In a way, there are a couple of skits where I would require participation of couple of devotees or more, and we will see that. So this is from this presentation is completely based on Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is taken from um, the notes of Radhesham Prabhu. He has these seminars uh, on learning to see good in others and overcoming fault finding. So it is taken from him, from his notes, made into a presentation. Um, okay, and this particular verse is spoken by Swayambhuva Manu to Maharaj Dhruva. Now, you all may be aware of the pastime of Maharaj Dhruva, where he was not allowed to sit on the lap of his father because um, his stepson, whose name was Uttam, he was sitting. So Maharaj Dhruva and Uttam were same father, different mothers. Uttam was son of Suniti, who was a younger wife and more loved by Maharaj Uttanapad. So we know Maharaj Dhruva went, he did tapasya, he chanted Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya for 6 months, and that's how he saw the darshan of Vishnu face to face. And then he came back. Maharaj Uttanapad was very much concerned. Suniti was very much concerned. Suruchi was very much concerned. Maharaj Uttanapad thought maybe Dhruva is eaten by snakes, maybe something happened. Suniti thought, why did I? Although she was by nature envious, but she thought, why did I say like that? Uh, mm, my husband is morose and depressed, and he may have ended his life because of me. Suruchi thought, who was his own mother, why did I let him go? Why did I tell him to do tapasya? Why did I stop him? Now I don't know where he is. So they were very much concerned, and here Maharaj Dhruva within 6 months attained perfection of life under guidance of Narad Muni. And then Narad Muni went to Tanapad and he said, don't worry about your son. Your son has attained perfection. Your son went to Vrindavan in Madhuvan and he performed severe austerities. He attracted the mercy of Lord Vishnu in a very intense way that Lord Vishnu gave him darshan. Now he is no more only your son, but he is a Mahabhagavat Vaishnava. He is a Mahabhagavat Vaishnava. And his desire was that I want to have a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma. His desire was fulfilled. But Lord Vishnu told Maharaj Dhruva that you rule this earthly kingdom for uh, uh, um, many thousands of years, and after that you come and rule um, 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 Shvetadweep. Shvetadweep is a planet of Lord Vishnu himself within this universe. So where Shirodakshai Vishnu lives. You come and rule that planet for thousands of years. Then you will come back to me. So the news reached Maharaj Uttanapad through Narad Muni. So Uttanapad Maharaj was running towards forest with Suniti, Suruchi and the entire kingdom, and then they saw to receive Maharaj Dhruva, who is now a Mahabhagavat Vaishnav, and they saw that Maharaj Dhruva was coming, just 5-year-old boy, now turned into a Mahabhagavat Vaishnav. Um, and then after Maharaj Dhruva came, um, Uttanapad in very short period of time made Maharaj Dhruva the king of the earth planet, and he went for forest. And now few years have passed and Dhruv Maharaj is now the king of the earth planet. Now what happened is yakshas. Yakshas are um, 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 heavenly people, heavenly people, yakshas, rakshasas, and those kind of people, whose leader is Kuber, and they all attacked Uttam. Uttam was the brother of Maharaj Dhruva from Suniti, the step brother of Maharaj Dhruva. Yakshas killed Uttam. And just recently, Maharaj Dhruva came to know Yakshas have killed Uttam, and it was an intolerable news to Maharaj Dhruva. And Maharaj Dhruva became so angry. He was supremely powerful, I mean, supremely blessed by Lord Vishnu. And Maharaj Dhruva was so angry that he started killing Yakshas. And here we see in a picture that all the yakshas are fighting against, and yakshas are mystical people, so they are creating so many mysticism, um, and they all are trying to kill Maharaj Dhruva. And uh, um, snakes, lions, people, horses, all these different forms yakshas took and created an illusion, attacking from all sides, and they are trying to kill Maharaj Dhruva. And Maharaj Dhruva is fighting with all of them, and they cannot defeat Maharaj Dhruva. In fact, they are getting killed. At that point of time, when Maharaj Dhruva was killing everyone, Swayambhuva Manu came to Maharaj Dhruva, and Swayambhuva Manu said this verse, and he said, the Lord is very satisfied with his devotees when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. The idea that Swayambhuva Manu is telling to Maharaj Dhruva, if you treat these yakshas with tolerance, why tolerance? Although now this is not easy, much easier said than done. I mean, imagine if somebody not only harm us, but kills a family member whom we love, then naturally there will be a feeling that I want to take revenge. That kind of feeling Maharaj Dhruva was having. How can they kill my brother? And Swayambhuva Manu is telling, tolerate, tolerate, tolerate your losing Uttam, and treat others, including those who are your enemies, um, with friendship, with mercy, with tolerance, and with equality. And if you do that, the Lord will be very satisfied. And Maharaj Dhruva, because he does not have any false ego, when he heard from superior Swayambhuva Manu saying in that way, Maharaj Dhruva forgave Yakshas. Okay. Now this okay, let's read. Someone can read.
Sometimes devotees are ill-treated by envious persons. It is advised that an advanced devotee should be tolerant. He should show mercy to persons who are ignorant or innocent. Prabhu, should I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay. Everyone by constitutional position is an eternal servant of God. Therefore, a devotee's business is to awaken everyone's Krishna consciousness. That is his mercy. It is said there, therefore, that a saintly person is always tolerant and merciful. He is a friend to everyone, never an enemy to anyone, and he is peaceful. These are some of the good qualities of a devotee.
So this is Prabhupada telling in the purport to the previous verse. And Prabhupada is telling sometimes devotees are ill-treated by envious person. It will happen. It will happen. You may be trying to spread Krishna consciousness and um, um, and and somebody may not like you because what you are doing. Very good example is Jesus Christ. Um, uh, um, Everybody was envious of him because he was trying to spread the message of God consciousness. And not only that, it can be anyone. But just an example, Prabhupada is telling sometime it may happen that we are treated by envious person. It is advised that an advanced devotee should be tolerant, and he should show mercy to persons who are ignorant and innocent. And that's what Jesus Christ did. He was an advanced devotee, and he was tolerant. And what he did instead is he was showing his mercy to them. He was showing his mercy by second paragraph. Prabhupada says, um, this is his mercy. So a mercy of a devotee is that he tries to awaken everyone's Krishna consciousness, because he understands that they are part and parcel of Krishna, and they are suffering because of lack of Krishna. And he tries to awaken their Krishna consciousness. That's what Jesus Christ did. He was constantly praying, "My Lord, please forgive them. They know not what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing." So basically, they were put by Christ in the category of ignorant and innocent, and he was trying to show mercy to them. Another very good example, Srila Prabhupada said, even more advanced than Jesus Christ was Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was beaten in marketplaces, and what was his he tolerated. Very advanced devotee, pure devotee of the Lord. He tolerated, and he was showing mercy. And when they asked him, Haridas, um, why are you not getting killed now? Qazi, the Muslim ruler, will kill us because we are not able to kill you. And Haridas Thakur said, "Oh, you must have told this to me before." And immediately he went into the samadhi and lost all life symptoms, just to save those people. And while they were beating him, Haridas Thakur had a similar prayer, "My Lord, please forgive me." In fact, later on, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Haridas, "My chakra was away from my hand to cut off the head of all those who are beating you, but because you were praying, my chakra was helpless. He could not do anything." So that is the nature of an advanced devotee, that he tolerates. Even if someone acts enviously, he does not act on ego, he tolerates, and instead he thinks, "My Lord, please help him to become Krishna conscious." This is an advanced stage. Last paragraph again, it is said, therefore, that a saintly person is always tolerant, he is merciful. How he is merciful? He helps them to awaken their Krishna consciousness, because if they become devotees, their envy will go away, and their nature will go away. So he tolerates and he gives them Krishna. He is merciful. He is a friend to everyone. Um, Yudhishthir Maharaj, one of the name described of Yudhishthir Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam, Ajatashatrava. Ajatashatrava means he has no enemies. And same thing is mentioned for the six Goswamis, um, that the six Goswamis were Janapriya. They were dear to all living entities. In fact, even if others hated him, they would not consider anybody as their enemies. Um, so they were friendly to everyone, and never an enemy to anyone, and he is peaceful. Internally, he is peaceful, not disturbed. These are some of the good qualities of a devotee. Okay, now let's see. These are some of the questions um, um, from whom the qualities of tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equanimity are expected. So please try to give an answer.
From Krishna Prabhuji, I'm to say all the qualities, good qualities are coming from him only, right?
Yeah, they originate from him,
Mhm.
from whom from whom the quality of tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equanimity are expected.
Who expected? Okay. From a good disciple or a student?
Yeah, like as you see, Srila Prabhupada here uses the word. It is advised that an advanced devotee should be
Okay.
tolerant.
Advanced
है
level.
ना? From advanced devotee, I mean,
Mhm.
if others are not tolerant, somebody whom you know, if they're not tolerant, merciful, friendly, non-envious, if they're not tolerant, it's not expected from them.
Mhm.
But if you are a devotee, then it is these qualities are expected from you. Does it make sense?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
है ना? This is the responsibility of a Vaishnav. Of a Vaishnav. These qualities were exhibited by Jesus Christ and Haridas Thakur. It was expected from them because they were Vaishnavas, but it was not expected from Kazi and their rulers and those miscreants. They have to act because that's the lower nature. Okay, second question. What should devotee do when they get a mistreatment by foolish people, foolish persons?
So, Prabhuji, we should show the tolerance and pray for them that the Lord show mercy.
He should show his mercy for them. If we are mistreated by somebody, then we should be merciful to them. Now, two things can happen. If somebody mistreat us, then we may become envious of them, and we want to maintain distance from them. We want to harm them. We want to avoid them. If we have that nature, then we are not acting like a devotee. We have accepted chanting Hare Krishna. We are wearing the dress of a devotee. We are wearing a tilak mark of a devotee, but we are not exhibiting the quality of a devotee. So, what will a devotee do if he is mistreated? He'll show his mercy. He'll still be merciful to them, those who mistreat them. Now, what is the mercy of a devotee?
To show Krishna path or Krishna consciousness and to create opportunity for others to join into Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, thank you. Mercy of a devotee is that he gives others Krishna. So one time I remember Jagat Guru Prabhu, very senior devotee, he is a leader of ISKCON Detroit, practicing for over 40 years. And one time he was giving a talk and he asked all the devotees, what if somebody mistreats you? What you should do? And many devotees said many things, and he said, you should pray for them. You should pray for them even if they mistreat you. Even if you are a suffering person, you should pray for them, um, um, that they receive Krishna's mercy. In other words, this is the mercy of a devotee. The mercy of a devotee is he tries to give them Krishna because he sees that they are uh, ignorant. They are ignorant, um, and they are suffering because of lack of Krishna. But if they receive Krishna's mercy, they all are part and parcel of Krishna. And they will be happy only if they receive Krishna's mercy. So it doesn't matter how they treat to me, somehow or other, let me try to make them Krishna conscious. So that is the mercy of a devotee. Even if others mistreat us, suppose if we have negative feelings towards somebody, then we can overcome that negativity towards somebody by praying for them. So this way we are filling our heart with positivity. I mean, if we don't like somebody, how can we pray for them? So that may be a conditioned state that I hate this, I hate him, I hate her. Then, but if I pray for that person, even though in the beginning artificially, then I cannot be envious, I cannot have enmity toward those whom I am praying for. So just by praying for them, you are filling your heart with positivity towards others. And that's a duty of a devotee. This is expected out of devotee. When we act on these platform, then we please Krishna. Then we please Krishna. Um, I was thinking to do a seminar on the activities that affect our chanting, our daily routines and activities that affect our chanting. And one of, maybe in future we will do, one of the thing that will help you a better chanting is your consciousness, how you deal with the situation like these, how you deal with them. And that's how, that's a sign of your advancement, how much advancement you have made. Okay, what are the four qualities of a devotee that satisfies the Lord based on what we discussed?
Merciful.
He is merciful. Okay.
Prabhuji is like it's mentioned the tolerance,
Tolerant.
mercy, and equanimity. That is all those four qualities are mentioned about that. Again, the same.
Yeah, same. So answer is already there in the slide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the four qualities, and if you see here, this is what it says. Swambhuva Manu says, the Lord is satisfied. Our today my spiritual master was giving a talk, and in the talk he was only emphasizing pleasing Krishna, pleasing Krishna, pleasing Krishna, pleasing Krishna, pleasing Krishna. The whole talk was centered around the theme of pleasing Krishna. That's the spirit of Janmashtami. That's the spirit of Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja, is gratitude, um, doing everything we do to please Krishna. And here Swambhuva Manu is telling, when is Krishna pleased? And he's telling the Lord is very satisfied, not just satisfied. Lord is very satisfied. So titikshaya, when a devotee acts with tolerance. uh, Karunaya, when he acts with mercy. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, mercy of a devotee is that he is always desiring to give Krishna to others. Maitreya, he acts in a friendly way. Chakila Jantashu, and is friendly and equal. So if one acts on these qualities, then he becomes very pleasing and dear to Krishna. Okay, now uh, we have three particular situations. One is now this is our main theme of today, learning to see good in every situation. Okay, let's read this.
A common tendency of a living entity is to blame the surroundings. It can be friends, system, society, and even little things like the traffic, weather, and the population.
Hmm. Common tendency of a living entity is to blame the surrounding. This is natural. um, one can blame little things like because of this person. We try to blame our surroundings for our sufferings, because that Prabhuji is telling like this, because that Mataji is telling like this, because this family member is telling like this. So we try to blame the surrounding for our um, our agitation in our consciousness. When we are not stable, when we have negativity, we blame the surroundings. So now the theme is learning to see good in the situations. And this is a common thing, can be friends. Sometimes we blame our near and dear ones or somebody whom we know. Sometimes we blame the system is like this, sometimes we blame the society is like this, and everything, little thing here and there. And here is a story. Example, Duryodhan and um, Vidur, Vidura. Vidura was an old man. Vidura was cousin brother of Dhritarashtra. So Pandu, Dhritarashtra, and Vidura all had the same father. Their father was Vedvyas, and they were born from Ambika and Balika and maidservant. So Vidura was like a fatherly figure to Duryodhana, and Vidura told Dhritarashtra that don't do everything that Duryodhana says. Duryodhana is acting out of envy. He wants to kill Pandu. He tried to disrobe Draupadi. He tried to poison with a he tried to poison Bhima. He sent Pandavas for 14 years Vanvas. Now he wants a fight, Mahabharat war, and you are always supporting him. Don't do like that, because if you take the ill advice of others, you will be incriminated also. Use your own discrimination. Don't be attached to your son. He will take you also to a suffering condition. And Duryodhan heard it. And although Vidura is like a father, should be respected by a son-like personality, Duryodhana was completely angry. Vidura was acting completely without envy towards Duryodhana. He was trying to help his own brother because he loved Dhritarashtra so much. And Duryodhana said, "Get lost." Duryodhana said, "From today onwards, you have no place in our kingdom. Um, get out and never return here again. You cannot take anything from the palace other than your own breath, and get lost." And Dhritarashtra and Vidura had a very loving relationship. Dhritarashtra heard everything, how his own brother was insulted, and Dhritarashtra stayed quiet. And it pained okay, and it pained the heart of Vidura. Now, this is an extremely serious situation. I mean, somebody tells us little things here and there, and we become we develop very bad feelings towards them. How can they say like this towards me? And here Vidura was completely insulted in front of the entire kingdom, uh, who respected Vidura. Now, it is one thing when somebody insults us personally, but it's another thing when somebody insults us in public. That is even more painful. It is said that we should never insult anybody in public. If even if you want to correct somebody, always do it in person. Don't say in public. And Duryodhan insulted in the whole sabha, and it those words pierced in his heart like an arrow, and it caused a lot of pain to Vidura. Okay, let us see this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Thus, being pierced by arrow through his ears and affected to the core of his heart, Vidura placed his bow on the door and quite quit his brother's palace. He was not sorry, for he considered the act of external energy to be supreme.
Mm. Um, um, Pierced by the arrows through his ears, because the verse was so painful that it was like arrows are piercing him to the core of his heart. Vidura, whatever bow he was carrying, he kept at the bow, because Duryodhana said, "You cannot take anything other than your breath," and he quits his brother's place. He was pained. Yet, Srimad Bhagavatam explains, Sukadev Goswami explains, he was not sorry, for he considered the acts of external energy to be supreme. Um, and let's read sorry let's read this.
Instead of being sorry at the strong words of insult, he thanked him from within because it gave him the chance to live alone in a holy place and fully engage in devotional service of the Lord.
Mm. Now, Vidura, instead of being sorry, of course, he was hurt at that point of time. He was very much hurt. But then his higher spiritual intellect overcame him. So it may be natural when something instantaneous happen, we may feel something, but immediately Vidura overcame it. So Shivan Bhagavatam did say it entered his ears like a pierce of arrows in his heart. But instead of being sorry at the strong words of insult, he thanked him. Now this is a Vaishnav behavior here. So Vidura in his heart, he thanked Duryodhana from within because it gave him a chance to live alone in a holy place and fully engage in devotional service of the Lord. So Vidura had this desire that I want to visit holy places, but I'm too busy here. So many things are going on. What will happen to Dhritarashtra? Pandavas are in such a suffering condition, and all the wrong things are happening. I have to rectify. I have to do something. So he has duties, so he cannot leave because a lot of politics was going on in the kingdom. But when Duryodhan threw him off, insulted him, and he knew that I have no place in Hastinapur anymore, Vidura internally thanked Duryodhan that um, this is Lord's arrangement. This is Lord's arrangement. And he thought, well, now by the mercy of Duryodhan, I got a chance to visit the holy place. And then he went for Tirth Yatra. Lot of beautiful things happened. And then he met Maitreya Muni, he met Uddhav, and there is a deep conversation about Krishna. And throughout the time, the Mahabharat war happened, Duryodhan was killed. Throughout the whole this time, Duryodhan was blissfully discussing about Krishna. And when he came back, Dhritarashtra was there. He came back just to deliver Dhritarashtra again because his love, although Dhritarashtra mistreated him by not speaking against Vidura, Vidura still came back out of mercy, mercy, affectionate mercy that I must deliver Dhritarashtra. um, and then a very strong chapter in first canto where Vidura told Dhritarashtra, your teeth had becoming loose, you have become so old, while breathing you are making sound, and still you are sitting in one corner in a house eating chapatis. Do you have any shame? Your life is completely gone and you are eating like a dog. Work towards self-realization. And it was at that point of time that Dhritarashtra left home with Gandhari and they went to the forest and performed tapasya to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Dhritarashtra was liberated because of Vidura's mercy. But the idea is Vidura in that situation thanked Duryodhan and he saw good in that situation. It is not easy, but until we try to see what good happened in that situation, we will not be able to see. And sometimes we don't see at that point of time. We just tolerate and we show mercy by praying, and only after a very long period of time we learn. We now when like today one devotee asked this question to my spiritual master that I don't want to find fault in devotees, and my mind is tricking me. How can I overcome? And Maharaj said, um, um, learn to see good in others. In a way, later on, we will realize that what positive things came out in a way that um, I learned what was my mistake, what is the repercussion of my mistake, what I should not be doing. So there is always an opportunity to learn from every situation. If either it's Krishna's arrangement or if it is our mistake, then we learn what not to do. how not to react, how not to behave. So there is always something to learn from every situation. Um, okay, okay. Now, let's see. There is a skit. Um, I need two people, two devotees. Um, Tell their names, and they both will read paragraph after paragraph. I will show some paragraphs, and they both just have to read. Any two volunteers?
I will do, Prabhuji.
Okay, Ashwini Mataji, and who else?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Kripi Mataji. Okay, okay. So maybe Ashwini Mataji, you are Arjun, and Kripi Mataji, you are Shyam. Every Arjun, Ashwini Mataji, you read. Every Shyam, Kripi Mataji, you read.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Sham, I was sorry to know that you had a leg fracture yesterday while you drove on bike. How do you do now? Hope it's not paining now.
Shyam. No, Prabhu. No, Prabhu. I'm perfectly well. I started late for the college and therefore rushed at high speed. Krishna taught me a lesson to be more careful through this small accident. Also, now that I have to be in bed for at least 3 weeks, I will catch up with my reading of SP books,
Srila
which
Prabhupada
I
books. Okay.
Srila Prabhupada books, which I have been neglecting in the last 2 months. Krishna is coming in the form of this accident so that I may not forget him.
But I'm surprised. How do you can tolerate such reversals coming one after another? You only told me that your grandmother passed last month and your father passed away 2 weeks ago. You just got up from the bed due to 1 week long malaria. Don't you feel broken down with all this series of events, Prabhu? Is your mind not becoming angry with Krishna?
Yeah. No. My grandmother was in her 90s and my father is bedridden for last 3 years and was 70 years old. His suffering was too intense. And after my malaria got over, me and a dozen ashram devotees cleaned up the overflowing gutter just outside our ashram, which otherwise nobody would have been considered cleaning up. Therefore, I try to see hand of Krishna in every situation that I encounter in my life.
Reflections.
Never forget Lord Krishna.
Never forget.
Sham is seeing Krishna's hand in all the situations without complaining.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Although everything was happening against um, his comfort zone in a way, something that he doesn't want to happen, everything was happening, and he was trying to see um, good. He was trying to see. So that's a training we have to. This is, Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness is about training. How we have to train ourselves is we have to train ourselves to see good in situations. Today we are not going to discuss how to train ourselves to not see fault in others. That will be the discussion of next to next week. But today is only how to see good in others. And this is something which we may not have it today, or we may have it today. We should develop it further more and more, and see what can be Krishna's situation, Krishna's hand in that. Like I remember at one point of time, Yugal Kishore Prabhu was in Chowpatty, and he was sharing this with me. He got a leg fracture, and he was sleeping in this sick room. They have this in a temple. They have this sick room, and he was sleeping there, and his one leg was tied to a string, and he was completely like that. And it's been a month, 2 month, 3 month. Everybody stopped visiting. Nobody would talk to him because there is nothing to talk to, and he felt very much in a way alone and alienated in some way. And then it was a very depressing situation in a way. I mean, any common man will be depressed, but he said, I was never depressed. And what he did is he started reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he said, in those 4 months I read day and night. I was completely absorbed, and I finished Chaitanya Charitamrita. But because I was so busy in traveling and preaching that if Krishna would not have arranged that situation, I could not have taken the time off and finished Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I'm so happy that I could finish the whole reading in a very absorbed way in those 3 4 months. Now, a common man will be depressed, but this is like he's showing us by his own example how to see good in every situation. um, um, Trying to see, okay, what can we learn, or even if you don't see any good, train yourself, it's about training, it's about training to see. And this is like trying to see good, and actually Paramatma will help you from within. If that is your desire, what can I see from this situation? Paramatma will help you from within. Okay.
Prabhuji and Maharaj also mentioned that in this pandemic now everybody is locked down, so you have more time to spend with family, try to understand more. Even if you stay in the same house, you don't know each other more deeper. So this is an opportunity to know more. And then I think he was mentioning now he's in Chicago, locked down in house. Now he's cooking for himself. He's washing his pots. He's washing his dress. He always wanted to do that, but nobody allowed him to do. But now he can do it. So Krishna fulfilled his desire. So he was seeing everything good in whatever is happening.
Yeah, so we are learning from the example of our spiritual masters and senior devotees, how they are seeing good. And one more thing I remember Maharaj mentioned is preaching is expanding like never before in this pandemic. So if you see devotees, whenever devotees speak about any negative situation, you will see we are always presenting it in a positive way. They're always presenting it in a positive way. This is something that we have to learn to develop that quality. Now, maybe it is totally negative, maybe, but train. Like Vidura immediately thought, wow, I'm so grateful to Duryodhan. Because of him I could associate with devotees, with sadhus, and hear so much Krishna Katha. And Krishna pulled me out. Krishna used him as an instrument. And although it may be all fault of Duryodhan, Vidura rejected to find fault in him. Although it was actually the fault of Duryodhan. Vidura just trying to see. So we have to learn. We have to train ourselves to see that.
Prabhuji, I have a question, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this kid, like from this kid, like if a person is a devotee, or maybe at least he has little bit of knowledge by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, so he can understand that, okay, like maybe when something happens to his own, just like the person got accident, and just like he said, like his grandmother was old age and his father was already, so those things, Prabhuji, sometimes are easy to understand, okay, because that much strength I feel like we have if something happens in life like that. But when things comes like mm, just like in the with Maharaj call, some devotee asks like, okay, if a devotee hurts you, being a devotee,
Yeah.
and so those situations, or maybe, and moreover, like when something happens to kids, so myself being a mother, I feel like, okay, that situation, I try to see positive, I try to pray and everything, but like, so how to deal with, just like Maharaj gave answer, but I really again want to hear the same thing maybe again, so that it will be
Now,
fixed in my mind.
I heard you. Uttam, very dear to Dhruva. And Uttam didn't only become sick, Uttam was killed.
Uttam, Prabhuji.
Uttam, brother of Dhruva,
Okay,
brother of
the
Dhruva. Like, Dhruv Maharaj had a stepbrother,
yes, Prabhuji, yes.
है ना, Uttam. And when Dhruv Maharaj became the king, Uttam was killed by Yakshas.
Okay.
Um, and and Dhruv Maharaj became very angry. Now,
Hmm.
naturally, this is coming
Yes.
to the point where you said Uttam is a pure devotee.
Yes, yes.
And sorry, Dhruv Maharaj is a pure devotee, and just like we are also aspiring devotees, something happened to our kids, someone whom we love, something happened to them. What to speak about if somebody harm your kids?
Hmm.
Isn't
Hmm.
it a distressful situation?
Yes,
Somebody harm your kids. So
yes.
similar thing happened in Shrimad Bhagavatam to Dhruva.
Hmm.
Dhruva really loved Uttam. He was his like a real brother. They had a very loving relationship.
Hmm.
Initially they were child, so Uttam didn't say anything because they were just 5 years old. But they were
Hmm.
very close to each other. And Yakshas killed him. Yakshas killed him. It was natural for Maharaj Dhruva to become angry. Maharaj Dhruva did become angry, and Maharaj Dhruva wanted to take the revenge
Hmm.
from Yakshas, and he started killing Yakshas. At that
Okay.
time, Swayambhuva Manu said, "The Supreme Lord is very pleased if one is tolerant and merciful."
Hmm.
And then Maharaj Dhruva understood that I should be merciful even to be to Yakshas, and who would treat everyone in friendliness, who treat every living entity in friendliness. So Maharaj Dhruva understood that I should, even though they have killed my brother, um, I should still be. Now, it does not describe how Maharaj Dhruva saw anything good coming out by killing of Uttam. It doesn't describe like that. Uh,
Hmm.
um, 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 But the point at that point of time, even though there was nothing good that was coming out that Maharaj Dhruva could see, he received the instruction: a devotee is friendly, a devotee is tolerant. He is friendly even to his enemies,
Hmm.
and he is tolerant to whatever happens in one's life.
Hmm.
Um, in this way, you can really please the Supreme Lord. And Dhruv Maharaj took it with humility, and Dhruv Maharaj acted on that, and he forgave Yakshas. He stopped fighting with Yakshas.
Hmm.
And when he stopped fighting, Kuvera is the leader of Yakshas. Like if you see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, among
Yes,
Yakshas, I am Kuvera.
yes.
So Kuvera is the leader of Yakshas. So Kuvera told Maharaj Dhruva, I'm very pleased with your behavior. Although they killed your own son because he was hunting Uttam, and they killed him. And Kuvera said, although
Hmm.
it was our fault, um, you tolerated, you stopped fighting, you treated even your own enemies with friendliness. I am very pleased with you. Um, I am the in charge of wealth. I am Kuber, finance minister of the universe. What can I do for you? Ask me a benediction. And Dhruv said, let my remembrance be always fixed in the lotus feet of the Lord. That's all he asked. Let my remembrance undeviated be fixed in the lotus feet of the Lord. Now it didn't say here how Dhruv Maharaj saw good in what came out. He must have seen, um, which I don't know how it saw, but at least he trained himself in a way that let me try to please act in such a way that pleases Krishna in this situation. And he acted like that, and he attracted the mercy of the Lord. So that is still he trained himself in a way that how can I please the Supreme Lord in this situation? He acted in that way. Does it help?
Yes, Prabhuji. That means I understood, like, okay, maybe whatever could be the situation, sometimes we may not be able to see good, but by keeping the principle in the mind that, okay, if you become tolerant, friendly, it is pleasing to Krishna.
Mm.
If you keep that principle fixed and try to follow that, then maybe it may take some time, maybe, or maybe Lord will only help you to see good, but try to follow the principle. We have to train for that thing ourselves.
Yes. Sometimes we will be able to see good, like in this kit.
Yes,
Sometimes we'll be able to see good, like Vidura.
yes.
And sometimes we may not be able to see anything. Well, this is what will please Krishna if I cooperate,
Mm.
if I forgive. This is something that is going to please Krishna. So some devotees see it as a test from Krishna. That's okay. It's a test from Krishna. I have to pass this test from Krishna. In any situation, a devotee trains himself to act in a Krishna conscious way. And that training we need.
Hmm. Yes,
To the
Prabhuji.
extent we are training ourselves, we are advancing.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You know?
Yes, thank you.
And the more and more we move in that direction, it will become our second nature.
Yes,
like
exactly.
like Yoga Kishore Prabhu and Maharaj was mentioning, and every spiritual master, they have gone through. I mean, my spiritual master was telling, even he went through a lot of difficult situations, and then he thought, well, Krishna is there in everyone's heart, and everyone loves, and Krishna loves everyone. They are very dear to Srila Prabhupada, and they are very dear to Krishna, and he let it go. Just on the principle that they're very dear to Prabhupada and very dear to Krishna, then he is like, okay, that's fine. And then he overcame that situation. So
Yes.
that's like uh, trying to see, okay, this pleasing to Krishna. And that's also okay. As long as your behavior, thought process, activity are positively inclined in a most negative situation, that's like seeing good in every situation.
Prabhuji, can you repeat again? Same sentence, Prabhuji.
He said, as long as your thoughts, your actions are inclined in a way that is favorable to Krishna, that is seeing good in every situation.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay. Very
Okay, okay.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Prabhuji, but the example you gave of Dhruv Maharaj, but in that example, as Dhruv Maharaj acted, it was not, he was thinking like them as Krishna's devotees, or he attacked them, right?
Yes. So this story comes, he actually attacked them, and then another devotee, Swambhuva Manu, who is a pure devotee of Krishna, came and helped him. And he told Dhruv Maharaj, a devotee satisfies Krishna when he acts with tolerance, when he is friendly to all, when he is merciful. And Dhruv Maharaj immediately understood, oh, what I was doing is not right. And Dhruv Maharaj immediately corrected himself, and he stopped fighting with Yakshas. And that's how Kuber became very pleased in asking for a benediction. So sometimes it may happen that we are unable to see good and we act in a unconducive way, but then like today my spiritual master was mentioning, association is so important. You heard that, yes? Yes.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Association is so important. Some other devotees can tell us and help us to behave in a positive way, and that's also Krishna telling through devotees. And immediately he accepted. He didn't retaliate, he didn't argue. He accepted, and then he acted like that, and Krishna was very pleased with it.
Okay, Prabhuji. So, uh, like angry, like getting angry immediately is natural, but we should be under guidance of someone, right, Prabhuji?
Well, if we become angry, no, it's okay to make mistakes. My spiritual master always says this, it's okay to make mistake, as long as the moment we realize I made a mistake, try to rectify, do the best you can. It's natural to make mistake, but then once you realize what's our activity, are we still willing to act on our ego and not accept our mistake, or immediately say, well, it was my mistake and I beg forgiveness, I don't know what else to do. And that's okay, as long as you realize your mistake, immediately rectify. Making mistake is okay. Dhruv Maharaj made mistake, but Dhruv Maharaj, as soon as he realized by the association of devotee Swambhuva Manu, he rectified himself.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, one question here. You said rectified Dhruva Maharaj, but he cannot bring whichever yakshas he killed, he cannot bring them back. So how did he rectify them by now? No, like
Well, well, the moment you rectified, you lamented. Um, Srimad Bhagavatam says, learn to forgive others, learn to forgive yourself.
yes. No, Prabhuji, I'm asking this question because in I think in one of the lecture or article from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, I heard like sometimes, we do something and we get like, we feel, we cry. So crying is of like two kinds. Sometimes we cry because we are really lamenting for that,
Yeah.
and sometimes we cry because like you are not lamenting it, but you feel yourself like, okay, like why that
Yeah.
thing happened to you, and
Yeah.
for you become sorry for yourself, and that's why you cry. So those are not on same level.
Yes. Yes.
So that is why I wanted to understand like how Dhruv Maharaj have rectified. Like I'm not saying like, okay, definitely he cannot bring them back, but like that repentance, how can we do if we understand also our mistake? Okay, we did it. So sometimes how can we show someone, or at least to forgive ourselves? How can we lament and rectify that thing?
Well, Krishna sitting in our heart. One is out of self pity. How can this happen to me? They insulted me. Now I have no value because I was insulted in public. And we are crying because we are pitying ourselves because we are thinking I am the victim. But there is no lamentation there. Another crying is like, I made a mistake. I killed yakshas. I did something, something, something. And then I may go to Srimati Radharani, I may go to the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Please forgive me. With
Mm.
genuine sincerity, please forgive me. I made a blunder. I am willing to do anything to rectify. Please help me. And then Krishna will be on your side.
Mm.
If you
Mm.
have that consciousness, Krishna is on your side. It's okay to make mistakes.
Mm.
We need to understand it's okay as long as devotees have a loving understanding between them and accepting it's okay. The moment you realize, oh, I should not have done like that. um, okay, I mean, in fact, my spiritual master was telling at some point of time I was um, um, it was a very difficult situation for me, but later on I gave it up because they are dear to Prabhupada and Krishna. So difficult situation will come.
Mm.
At some point of time, right away, our spiritual intellect may not work because emotions may be too high. That spiritual intellect may not work right away. Just like for Dhruv Maharaj, emotions became high. He's still a pure devotee. He was a pure devotee. He is a pure devotee. He will remain a pure devotee. But
Mm.
it was the emotions too high. It may happen. Immediately he rectified and he begged forgiveness.
Mm.
अभी आप और क्या कर सकते हो उससे ज्यादा?
Yes, Ojai, I understand. Yes.
Prabhu, can I add to that point, like how he rectified?
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, if I remember in that story, he actually attacked Alkapuri, Yaksha's kingdom, right?
Yeah,
And again, like he is being the king of the world, so he has to also protect the he has to justify also, right? Because Uttama not only was his brother, he was also citizen of his kingdom, right?
uh,
So he is actually going for the justice. But the problem was like only one Yaksha killed Uttapa, not all of them, right? So
yeah,
actually, when he attacked, he started killing all of them, and they were also retaliating, not begging forgiveness to him. That's why how this all fight started, and then it continued for so many days. But when Swambhu Manu came and when he asked him not to fight, that's how he rectified. That he immediately stopped, and then even if I remember, Kuvera also came, and then he even gave him a boom also
yeah.
because he stopped, because it was again Yaksha's fault because they only killed because he stopped fighting. That's why that was his nature. That was a devotee nature he showed, right? That
Mhm.
immediately when he got a instruction from superior, he stopped fighting.
He stopped fighting. Yeah.
Yes, thank
Thank
you, everyone. Yes.
you. Thank you. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so as you heard from Hemant Prabhu, we also read Srimad Bhagavatam to get the jewels of Bhagavatam and imbibe in our heart. Because whatever we are discussing, ultimately we can get it ourselves in a much deeper way if we simply read Srimad Bhagavatam every single day. So I request all of you first finish Bhagavad Gita, then read Srimad Bhagavatam. Plus, please have a reading habit, and Krishna will instruct you day after day from Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. Okay, now blaming situation. This is the second aspect of this. Blaming people and situations only make us more frustrated. So sometime we may have a tendency, if something went wrong because of him, because of her, because of this situation, everything went wrong. But when we are blaming everyone for our suffering, then we are only becoming more frustrated. We are only the suffering side, basically. Okay, let's read this. Let's read.
When we turn our argument to situations and the people around us, we don't empower ourselves. Rather, we weaken ourselves, rendering ourselves helpless. When we blame others, we may hurt them and alienate them. People like to work with us if we give them benefit of doubt and let them grow slowly out of their mistake.
So when we blame others, then we weaken ourselves. How? Because we think I was helpless. मेरे साथ गलत हुआ, मेरे साथ गलत हुआ, मेरे साथ गलत हुआ, and we keep on repeating मेरे साथ गलत हुआ because we are blaming the situation and we are blaming the people. And by saying repeatedly saying that, we 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 find ourselves weak. We find ourselves helpless because I was the victim, I cannot do anything. And then we blame others and we distance ourselves from them, and it only increases our own frustration. Our own frustration. And um, um, a better way to deal is um, instead of um, um, even if others are at fault, a more positive way to deal is um, well, they made some mistakes, and that's okay. That's okay. Everybody make mistakes, and if I give them some time, they will grow out of it. Instead of blaming, like here, people like to work with us if we give them benefit of doubt and let them grow slowly out of their mistakes. So if we see, if we are tolerant of others making mistakes, um, 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 okay, let's try to understand it from an example. And then there is a beautiful example, which is um, um, Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj. And Hiranyakashipu was um, um, was becoming more and more frustrated because Prahlad was not um, listening to what Hiranyakashipu wanted. Hiranyakashipu wanted Prahlad to become a demon, and Prahlad Maharaj was a devotee of the Lord. He was worshipping Vishnu, and Hiranyakashipu thought, my suffering is because of Prahlad Maharaj. My suffering is because of him, and he tried his best, but he was always thinking Prahlad is the cause of my suffering, and he was becoming more and more frustrated. That's the idea, that's the theme, that if we see that other persons are the cause of my suffering, um, um, then we will become more and more frustrated. Just like Hiranyakashipu was thinking Prahlad is the cause of my suffering, and he was becoming more and more frustrated. But on the other hand, uh, Prahlad Maharaj was not thinking that the cause of my suffering is Hiranyakashipu. He was simply depending on the Lord. Now, if you see in case of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj, um, they both were not listening to each other. I mean, see from abstract way. Um, he wanted Prahlad to become a devotee. Prahlad wanted Hiranyakashipu to become a Prahlad wanted Hiranyakashipu to become a devotee. Hiranyakashipu wanted Prahlad to give up worship of Vishnu. So they both were not listening to each other. But because Hiranyakashipu was thinking he is the cause of my suffering, he felt that he is helpless. He wanted to kill Vishnu. He wanted to kill Prahlad. Why I'm not able to kill him? And Prahlad was always in his mind. Whereas when Prahlad Maharaj was going through this suffering, he was not finding fault that my suffering is because of Hiranyakashipu. Instead, he was depending that this is Lord's mercy, and in every situation I should depend on the Lord. This will please the Lord. That's like the first thing that we discussed, that how can I please the Lord? Everything is arranged by the mercy of the Lord. Let me depend upon him. So Prahlad was very peaceful although he was in a more suffering situation. But Hiranyakashipu, although in a controlling position, no physical harm to Hiranyakashipu, nobody can attack him, but he was suffering more and more. So the idea is when we are trying to blame others because of him, because of her, and we think I am victimized, I am helpless, mere saath galat hua, then we are suffering, we are disempowering ourselves. Okay. Okay, and this another example is Shishupal, and Shishupal was very envious. Shishupal would find fault in Krishna, and he thought because many Shishupal anything Krishna would do, Shishupal was envious, and he would blame situation and he would blame Krishna for everything, and Shishupal was the one who was internally suffering. In other words, um, if we are on the side of because of others I am suffering, then we will think that I cannot do anything. I'm helpless. I cannot do anything. Um, instead, instead, um, um, if instead I'm explaining the third paragraph now. Um, if somebody gives you trouble, if somebody gives you trouble, then you can see from the perspective that the other person needs some time. He's like today my spiritual master was mentioning, Prabhupada used to say, this person is under the shower, is under the shower. If he has any shortcomings because of which he mistreated me, he will become purified over a period of time. It's okay to make mistake like we discussed. So we can see the situation as this person is full of faults, he's like this, or we can see that he's cleaning himself, he's cleaning himself. So it's okay if other makes mistake to us, it's okay, and we give them chance to grow. We still pray for them, we still love them. It's okay for others to make mistake to us. We don't de-alienate them or consider ourselves as victim. मेरे साथ गलत हुआ, इतना कुछ ये वो, then we will simply disempower ourselves. But if we see it's okay to make mistake, that's okay, let's move forward, let's try to work out things, then we will not disempower ourselves. Does it make sense? Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji, very nice example of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj.
Okay. Okay, now I need two more volunteers, some other volunteers.
I can read for you.
Praveen Prabhu, and who else? One more.
Prabhuji, I can read.
Okay, Anil Prabhu. Okay, let's go. So Praveen Prabhu, you are Gopal, and Anil Prabhu, you are Ravi. Let's go.
Dear Ravi Prabhu, you soon seem to be chanting in counter machine nowadays.
Yes, Prabhu. I do 10 rounds on beats and balance 6 rounds on counter beats because I recently got promotion in my company from team lead to project lead. Don't ask me how tight my schedule is.
Understand, Prabhu. Understandable, Prabhu. Also, I just wanted to see you at the temple at least in the weekend so that you can spend time with all our devotees, friends, Prabhu. We are missing you for last 3 months.
I had to stop coming to the temple because I have to socialize with all my relatives in the city who swallow all my time in the weekends, Prabhu. Also, I take my son to swimming pool and take my daughter to Bharatanatyam classes, and there is no time left to come to the temple.
Our mentor expressed his concern about your spiritual life, Prabhu. Therefore, I asked you.
What does he think? Does he think I've fallen down? You explain to him and ask him to understand my practical difficulties.
No, no. He just wants to see you coming in association of devotees. That will make it easy for you to complete chanting your rounds every day nicely without having to use counter, Prabhu.
Nobody can understand my situation unless they go through it themselves. I've invested a big money in that Diwala private banking offering 28% interest, and bank owner fled abroad with crores of rupees, shutting down the bank. I'm a business partner in two more businesses so that I'll be able to fund my two sons for their higher studies in America. I agree. I was eager to take initiation last year, but doesn't mean I can be chanting and dancing in the temple, forgetting all these huge responsibilities.
Okay, now quiz. After going through the above skit, as per your estimation, what do you think that went wrong with Ravi in his spiritual life and professional life? Reflection.
Balance.
Who
There
said?
was an
Ravi
Prabhuji.
Prabhu. Balance.
Yeah, meaning I think based on conversation, I understood that he was enthusiastically doing the services earlier, but due to um, his responsibilities, as he mentioned, he couldn't give more time now. So
Okay.
other devotees feeling concerned for him because he's not able to devote more time in devotional service and getting inclined more and more to the his you know uh, daily routines or like other than devotional service, other activities more.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Any other reflection?
I think he is taking too much responsibility in the material world.
Over India. Atyara. Okay.
Same point, Prabhuji. Like he's thinking by his endeavor, he can overcome his difficulty instead of depending on Krishna. So he's thinking like he can overcome, like if he work hard or he thinks his plan is better than Krishna's plan.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other reflection?
He is blaming that no one is able to understand him and why he is not able to come to the temple, and so that's why he's becoming more and more frustrated.
Hmm. Well, everyone is right. Everyone, whatever you said is correct. But based on the theme of this discussion, is blaming situations. I'm not able to come to temple because of this. I'm not able to chant around because of him or her or temple and bank and my sons and this classes and this and this. He's saying, what can I do? I'm helpless. And he's kind of saying, I'm not able to do my spiritual life, not because of me, because of others. Others are responsible for my lacking in my spiritual life. And because of this, he's becoming more and more frustrated. Does it make sense? Every time he gets an argument, um, his counselor said, Prabhu, this is not good. What does he think of himself? Does he think I've fallen down? He's becoming more and more frustrated. Instead of a devotee, unlike Dhruv Maharaj, when he heard, um, well, why are you killing yakshas? Oh, okay, all right. So a humble devotee, when he hears, Prabhu, this is not good for you. Okay, what should I do? This is the situation I'm going through. How can I act? Let me try in this way. So instead of taking responsibility that, okay, it's my fault, let me rectify it, please guide me how to rectify, he is simply trying to blame the situation and trying to prove that he is right to give up devotional life, to relax. He is right. There is no other alternative for him because the situation is like that, and because he's trying to blame others and not take responsibility or feel sorry or try to improve, he's blaming, he's becoming more and more frustrated. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay, okay. And let's see, maybe just 10 more minutes before we end this presentation. Um, if I spread love but get rudeness in reciprocation, what do I do? Like I'm trying to treat others with love, but they are not, um, 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 they are still rude at me, or they are not reciprocating their love with me. What should I do? Very important. Let's, okay, let's have someone read it.
The formula of life being a mirror should not be applied to single individuals. It would be like trying to see a few pieces of jigsaw puzzle and trying to know how the whole picture looks. There are many kinds of people and each person has the free will to be good or bad, kind or rude. We cannot control everyone, however strong or good we may be. The formula of life being a mirror applies to life as a whole. If we give love and joy to others, it may not be returned by the very same people, but we will definitely receive it somewhere, sometime, maybe when we need it most.
Hmm. So the idea is, if you are giving love, if you are treating in a very Krishna conscious way, with respect, with tolerance, um, you may still not be able to change, transform, or receive a of um, similar kind of reaction. Like you're talking to somebody with humility, and you may expect, I am talking to him with humility, why is he still so angry and so rude at me? So the life of being a mirror means whatever I'm giving I should receive back, may not apply to a single individual. Like I'm trying to give love, I'm trying to show him affection, I want him to um, um, grow, but he's just taking it in a negative way and he's just not at all interested. Why is this happening to me? Okay. um, 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 okay. Why is this happening to me? So doesn't matter how strong we are, how good we are, things may not happen. Things may not, we cannot control every situation. Even if we try to do our best, things may not happen. So it's okay for us, even though making our best try, things may not work out. It's okay. But the idea is that the life of being a mirror applies to life as a whole. One second. uh, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam, Jai Shila Prabhupada. Is it regarding tomorrow or today 6 p.m.? Can I call you back? Okay, I'm in a class actually, sorry. Yeah. Okay, okay, Danvat Pranam, Hare Krishna. Okay. Um, Kadama Kadana Prabhu called. I just want to make sure there is no change for today 6 p.m. Okay. So if we, um, um, yeah, we may be very good with every person. Not every person may behave with us in the same way, and that's okay, because doesn't matter how good and best we are, things will not be according to how we want every time. And we should try to learn, but we should not feel in a way I'm trying to be so nice with everyone, especially with this person, why they're not nice to me when I'm trying to be so nice. That's okay. If you are nice to everyone, then the formula of life being a mirror applies to life as a whole. If you give love and joy to others, it may not be returned by the very same person, but we will definitely receive it somewhere, sometime, maybe when we need it the most. means overall it will come back to us overall. So if you live your life according to Vaishnav etiquette, with humility, with tolerance, with patience, with everyone, some may take you for granted and may not behave in a way you are behaving. That's okay. You should not change your nature. You be who you are. Act according to Krishna conscious principles and be with everyone like that. Even if one person don't reciprocate in that way, be like that. Overall, the life, everything that you are giving out will come back to you. Like just now Kadama Kadama Prabhu called me. He gave a very wonderful offering last year on the day of his spiritual master Vyas Puja. And um, 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 one devotee asked Maharaj, how is it that everybody loves you? Why? Why is it that you are so dear and loved all over ISKCON? If you are just like a magnet, everybody when they see you, they are drawn towards you. Why is it like that? And Maharaj replied to that Prabhu who asked that question, because I don't see fault in others. Because I love everyone, in spite of how they treat me, because I love everyone, it comes back to me, and that's why everybody is loving me. So independent of how others behave, if you don't change yourself, if you act with humility, patience and tolerance in every relationship, overall the life will return to you in that way. It will come back to you. Very good exam. Okay, this is one way. Like Ambarish and Durvasa Muni. Ambarish Maharaj fasted for 1 year on the banks of Mathura, um, and he was about to break the fast. Durvasa Muni, he would treat everybody with love. He would see Krishna in the heart of everyone. Durvasa Muni went to take bath, but the time to break the fast was going. So he asked the Brahmanas, what should I do? If I don't break the fast at this time, then um, the whole year of fasting, Ekadashi Vrata, will not reap the benefit for the pleasure of the. He was fasting just to uplift the citizens, not for himself. So they will not get the benefit for my fasting. So Brahmana said, take a few drops of water, charnamrit. It is considered breaking a fast. At the same time, it is considered not breaking a fast, because he wanted to be respectful to Durvasa Muni, because Durvasa Muni was a renunciate. So he's he said, well, it is my duty to feed first the guest, Durvasa Muni, and then I can honor. So I cannot honor before Durvasa. So he took few drops of water, but Durvasa Muni came to know he took few drops of water. Durvasa Muni became very angry, and Durvasa Muni immediately created a fire demon to kill Maharaj Ambarish, and Maharaj Ambarish still treated with love. He folded his hands. Mare Krishna Rakhe ke, Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. And this is something Maharaj told to Niru Mataji also today. Um, I am surrendered soul to Krishna. I am dependent on Krishna. um, and because he treated like that, he attracted Krishna's love. Although he didn't attract, he was dealing in a very loving way with Durvasa Muni, in a very respectful way. His consciousness was, I don't want to displease Durvasa. That's why he didn't eat. Yet, all he received from Durvasa Muni was anger, was curse. And even after receiving that, Ambarish Maharaj continued to deal in a loving way. Even after receiving the curse, with all humility, he accepted it. He continued, he didn't change his behavior based on behavior of Durvasa Muni. He didn't retaliate. And because he did like that, in general, um, he received Krishna's mercy. Krishna's chakra came, killed the fire demon, and Durvasa Muni had to pay a heavy, heavy price. He suffered like anything, Durvasa Muni. And finally, after 1 year of suffering, Durvasa Muni fell at the feet of Ambarish Maharaj, please forgive me. And Ambarish Maharaj still dealt with him with love. So the idea is, even if somebody deals with you with rudeness, does not give us as a devotee a license to treat them with rudeness. We still should act, and if we act in a loving way in every situation, life will bring all those things back to us. Okay, is the idea clear? Can we go to next one?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. And there is another example of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Um, okay, there is another example of Yudhishthir Maharaj where Yudhishthir Maharaj treated everybody with respect. He had no enemies. He treated even Duryodhan with respect, although Duryodhan was very envious and although wanted to, I mean, Duryodhan played tricks with Yudhishthir Maharaj in a game of dice, took his whole kingdom and sent them to forest. Duryodhan really acted in a very negative way to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj still treated with Duryodhan with love, even though after Duryodhan treating with them in such a negative way, um, when when Yudhishthir Maharaj was in Kamyavan, in one of the forests in Vrindavan, they were staying there. Duryodhan came and Duryodhan wanted to show them that you are so much suffering, I'm so happy. So he was playing, he was dancing with others, and he was drinking all kind of things and doing lot of water sports, and he set up a whole kingdom, and they were in exile, so they had nothing to eat and they were just acting like a beggar sitting in one corner. And one Gandharva became very angry with Duryodhan, because he was sporting in the water. That lake belongs to Gandharva, and he captured Duryodhan by force, as a servant, as a he imprisoned and took him to the heavenly planet to make Duryodhan suffer. And Bhima said, very good, excellent, this is what he deserves, because he was trying to show off, this is what he deserves. And Yudhishthira Maharaj said, no, go and escape him. Both Arjuna and Bhima didn't like it. And Yudhishthira Maharaj said, when it is outside, we are 105 brothers, we are together. But when it is within us, then there is something going on between those 100 brothers and we five. Um, there is this thing going on, but outside we are one. So he's still our brother. Go and fight with Gandharvas and release Duryodhan. So although Maharaj Yudhishthira was extremely mistreated, he still he still treated Duryodhan with love, with love. So that's like Yudhishthira Maharaj has no envy. Now, this question is raised, when Yudhishthira Maharaj was Dharmaraj and he was doing good with everyone, how is it that he has to go through so much tribulations? Why he had to go through so much trouble? And the answer comes here is, Yudhishthira Maharaj, although because he was giving love to everyone, he was actually receiving love from everyone, if not from Duryodhan, from everyone. Krishna loved him, all the Pandavas loved him, Bhishma Dev and Kripacharya, Dronacharya, although those who were fighting from the side of Duryodhan, even they loved, and the whole citizens, the whole praja, the whole planet, the whole universe have a very high regard for Yudhishthira Maharaj. So in other ways, in other words, the idea is, we may not get a similar reciprocation directly from the same person we are showing love. He may still mistreat us, but if we don't change our attitude of dealing in a loving way with everyone, everything comes back to us. If not to that person, in a life as a whole. That's the idea of this statement. Okay. Following example of Yudhishthir, some people feel that they have been exploited by greedy people. What would you suggest them? Although initially They didn't find fault with the exploiters. Their heart became filled with negativity later, and they blew off with double force. Okay, anybody would like to answer? Like somebody comes to you and say, Yudhishthira Maharaj was kind to everyone, even to his enemies. I was exploited. Some people took my wealth away, and I was misused, and I have lot of negativity towards them. Um, um, what will be your advice to them?
So, Prabhuji, I will suggest that his own karma that's coming back. Um,
Okay.
His or her own karma that's coming back, but
Yeah,
this answer
very good.
won't be liked by other individuals. So, what should be a good answer?
Yeah, that's one way to think if it happens to us. Like if we are the suffering party and if we are devotees and we think, well, my money went off by force because it was my own karma. But if somebody asks, if we tell you suffered because of your karma, it may not be a very good answer for them to hear in some ways. Make sense? Although this principle is true, but karma principle is spoken very sensitively.
So, Prabhuji, we can say that, like, if we see try to see Krishna's hand in that and try to learn what he wanted us to learn from the situation, then maybe it helpful. Because today also Maharaj answered to Mataji in the same way that, um, like, uh, like in this situation, if you try to find Krishna's hand and try to learn what he wanted us to learn from the situation, that may help to overcome the situation.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Very nice. We can say, Prabhu, this is Krishna's arrangement, and it is Krishna's arrangement. Since I'm running short of time because I know you all have engagement, you all want to get ready also. Um, One way based on the theme, this theme, we can say even if they mistreated you, if you continue to treat just like Maharaj Yudhishthir in a positive way, whether others are exploiting you or favoring you, if you don't change your behavior, everything will come back to you. May not like all good things that you are doing, if you don't change yourself, even if you don't get the same reciprocation from this person, you may feel negativity. Be who you are. Don't change your principles, and life will bring everything back to you, even though may not be from the same person. um, One very quick story, somebody cheated some devotees and they took $18,000 from them, and these devotees asked them, this is Krishna's money, it's actually connected to our temple only. And um, Yugal Kishore Prabhu and Hari Chakra Prabhu and two three devotees asked them, and this is money belong to Radha Gopi Janawal. This happened like 5-6 years back. That when Radha Gopajanabala was not there. But this is Krishna's money. We use every penny in service of Krishna. This is not good. And they somehow didn't take our word seriously, and they still did as it is. And one devotee told us that let it go, जाने दो, जाने दो. And we he was a devotee, so we told that devotee, okay, just because you are telling me, let it go. And we let go of that money, that $18,000. And later on, we sold a home, and the home was sold for $18,000 surplus amount. And Yugal Kishore Prabhu said, although because we heard a devotee, we let go of $18,000 from that devotee. Exactly $18,000 came back when we sold the home. So Krishna will return, even if not through them, through somebody else. In a way, don't change your behavior. Be Krishna conscious with life. Even if something goes up and down, Krishna will take care of it. For Krishna, it's nothing. But for Krishna, most important thing is our consciousness in every situation. Okay, now this is the last slide. I will read it so we can finish it. Yatha drishti tatha shishti means yatha drishti. Drishti is as you see. Tatha shishti. Based on your vision, the whole universe looks like based on your vision. The Vedic statement yatha drishti tatha shishti, as the vision so the word. Our mind can be compared to tinted spectacles. If we have negativity in our mind, everything seems to be against us and vice versa. For example, you succeed in something, you succeed in something, you are too happy, you are too jolly. Everyone appears happy everywhere. If you lose something dear to you, you become irritant. Every small problem arouses anger. So the idea is, if we have negativity, then we see negativity in everywhere. If we have positivity, we see positivity surrounding us. Our vision is tainted by like spectacles. If you wear black spectacles, the whole universe appears black. If you wear pink spectacles, the whole um, universe appears pink. The reason we are mentioning this here is, um, um, if we have fault in us, we will reflect those fault in everyone. Whatever faults we see in others is something that exists within us, and this was told by Saraswati Thakur. And the idea is, if we don't have faults like pure devotees, then we cannot see fault in anyone. And one example of how one reflect one's consciousness throughout, very good example is that of Indra. Um, any sage like Prithu Maharaj, he was performing Ashwamedha Yagya, and Indra thought he's performing Ashwamedha Yagya because he wants my kingdom, because Indra was too attached for his kingdom. When Vishwamitra Muni or any sage would perform tapasya, Indra would think they want my kingdom. So anybody doing any tapasya, Indra sends some distraction because Indra thinks the whole world is trying to get my kingdom, and he's thinking for the whole world because he's too attached to kingdom. So this is called Yatha Drishti Tatha Shishti. As our based on our consciousness, we think everyone in the world is doing certain thing because I want to do it in this way. Just like we reflect it on Krishna also, in a way, when Krishna had Rasa Leela and Krishna danced with gopis, then we reflect that if I were to dance with many girls, then the reason I would like to dance with girls is why Krishna danced with girls. So this is called reflecting our impure consciousness onto Krishna, or we bring Krishna to our plane. Likewise, we find fault maybe in pure devotees also, because we have faults and we think what I am doing, if if a pure devotee is doing a similar thing, then he must be doing for the same reason that I am doing this thing. So we reflect our consciousness everywhere, and just learning that it is my fault finding and I should work on my own self instead of reflecting onto others. This is called yatha drishti tatha shishti. Okay, so we have come to the end. We discussed first the qualities that pleases Krishna. We saw the example of Swayambhuva Manu. Then we discussed learning to see good in others. We discussed how Vidura saw good and how Dhruv Maharaj accepted that, okay, this is what pleases Krishna, all right, and this devotee is still dear to Prabhupada, still dear to Krishna, all right. So that is like, even situation unfavorable, we behave in a way that what pleases Guru and Krishna, and trying to see even from that worst situation what can I learn, whatever applies. And then we saw that if we blame the situation and people, then only we become more frustrated, like Hiranyakashipu. Shishupal was seeing fault every time in Krishna. Because he was seeing fault in Krishna every time, he was becoming more and more frustrated. Krishna was always peaceful, although he was the one who was getting blamed. And then the third thing we saw was, even if others treat us with disrespect, we should still treat out of love, even though the others may continue to treat us with disrespect. If we don't change our behavior, it will come back to us other ways. And the fourth thing, we see whatever fault we see in others, that's because it's in our consciousness. And whatever spectacles we wear, that's what we see around the world. And we saw a couple of skits to understand. Okay, we still have 14 minutes before you all can um, um, take that 5-minute news call. Are we good to end here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Vanchakalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Shri Prabhupada.
We just
Thank
wanted to thank everyone. Actually, everyone is participating very enthusiastically.
Okay, so grateful to all of you. Thank you very much. And I could see not everybody joined. I'm thinking because some of them may have anxiety for preparation, and that's okay. Okay, then Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Prabhupada.